a longer interview, the interview that you had with Kathy Newman. And this was a clip, 3-minute clip. You were talking about the gender pay gap, and you were saying that, paraphrasing here, but that the reason for most women is because most women are agreeable, most women don't negotiate, et cetera, et cetera. I believe that was essentially giving people options as to why it could be that there's this thing that exists or doesn't exist. And I didn't even finish the clip. I didn't even finish the 3-minute clip. But based on the things that another out of context clip that I had seen before, and the way that I'd heard your name being spoken of before in the context of the trans conversation that was happening around that time, 2018. Right, exactly. Again, I was watching this clip, and it's almost like I wasn't even listening to what you were saying. I had already decided that I don't like this man because someone that I trust has told me that I shouldn't like him. So therefore, the decision is made. Why do I even have to finish that video?
Right.
You know what? People do that all the time. And people are telling me right now, I'm getting emails, DMs on IG, inside of the Discord, long DMs, extremely long DMs. People are leaving the channel and they're saying that I should not be reacting to Jordan Peterson, nor Ben Shapiro, and giving them a platform. I mean, they're clearly all over the internet already. I'm not providing them any platform, but I essentially shouldn't be trying to learn who they are because people have already done their research and they're like, let me do you a favor, don't do it. And if you do it, then I don't agree with you anymore. I don't even want to watch anything you're doing anymore. People are putting their foot down before I even have a chance to find out who Jordan Peterson is. So I'm with her 1000%. It happens that way. It really does happen that way.
It was just right. And it was just normal.
Well, we use heuristics like that all the time, and it's easy to get caught up in them because, well, you can't listen to everyone. Yeah. And so you kind of have to make a snap judgment about almost everyone. And the default is you don't listen because there's like 7 billion people. So obviously you're not listening to most of them. So you don't need much of an excuse. How do we all address our proclivity to damn the foreigner? Okay, that's a really important question. Next thing is, well, we all have these proclivities. How are they exacerbated by power and privilege? Right? Those are good questions. But as soon as we make it instantly racist, well, then we can't even ask the damn questions properly anymore. So, Mick, sorry.
That's true. That's true. We make it instantly racist. Oh, yeah. Wow. And then it becomes combative, and it's no longer a conversation anymore.
If everyone has these tendencies, which they certainly do, I've noticed that if I have a guest on my podcast, and I think my audience is fairly open-minded, but then I'll have a guest on that, and they'll hate them. And they'll be like, well, you can't just, even if you don't agree with them, maybe they are wrong, but like you can't just cancel people because they don't agree with you because you're doing exactly the same thing that the people you're complaining about.
Well, and also...
Preach, sister, young lady, preach. For real, because this I've done that too. I'm sorry, I'm guilty. I've seen some people react to certain people, and I judged them off of their thumbnail. I looked at their thumbnail and I'll be like, really? You selling out for the bag? Really? I'm judging them off of their thumbnail. And now people are doing it to me, and I'm like, see how it goes around? What comes around goes around.
Something similar when I finally leaned into listening to you properly, because what was interesting, even after that moment in 2018.
I like that when she said, when I finally leaned into listening to you properly. That's just objectively. That's just without judgment. I like that. That's what I'm trying to do, but people won't allow me to do it.
So when I started watching your lectures late 2019 and last summer as well, in the beginning, I could notice myself listening to you and waiting for a moment where I could say, aha, see,
right.
I knew I was right. And you know what? I waited. That moment never came. That moment never came.
Wow.
That comes for me,
right?
all the time.
Really. And that again, so it's like there wasn't one moment of being awake and then it's done. So many little tiny, seemingly insignificant moments where I'm just sitting here by my sofa, just watching and listening, observing myself, waiting, for that confirmation that I'm right. And then it never coming. And then I have to deal with that. And then so again, my curiosity, I finally allowed myself to be curious again. And now, Jordan, I can say you have been one of the most influential people to me for so many reasons I couldn't even mention right now. But to be able to have the conversations that I do now publicly, you have, and I could have never imagined this ever.
Is my man crying? Wow, she really touched his heart with that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry for cutting this off. Y'all need to tell me what book this is, because I need to read this book. What's the name of this book that Jordan Peterson wrote? Okay, all right.
You have, and I could have never imagined this ever in my entire life. Things like this don't just happen. And the fact that I can tell you this.
Oh no.
Thank you. Just thank you.
Wow.
You got him.
Wow.
It's a pleasure. It's a rough pleasure, but
I know.
You knew what happened to me with Marvel Comics?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was something. It's really something to see yourself portrayed. I got accused of being a Nazi pretty much when all this happened. It was really something, because I had been teaching students what we're talking about today, about these temptations that you faced and how people, as individuals, get sucked into that totalitarian hell, and then, so that was something for that to happen, such a reversal. And then to have that comic book come out, well, it was surreal. It was absolutely surreal to be portrayed, because Nazi wasn't enough, right? We had to go right for the archetype itself. So I think we've raised about $400,000 for charity now on the basis of that. So that was a fun reversal. But it was really shocking when I first saw that. I just couldn't believe it. I was very ill at the time too. And I thought, this can't be real. This has to be Photoshopped. This cannot possibly be happening. It's so completely beyond comprehension.
Don't this make you want to punch somebody in the face, whoever says something mean about Jordan Peterson, man? I see why so many people be like, as soon as I say something slick about Jordan Peterson, they up on my back. Ah, he didn't say that. He didn't do that. He is not trying to sound like... Yeah, people protect this man. He means a great deal to a lot of people, and I'm starting to see why. I need to know what the name of that book is.
Be happening. It's so completely beyond comprehension. And to come from the pen of one of the foremost Black intellectuals, and I use the racial category only because that's the categories that he's using to operate within.
Yeah.
So life is really weird.
This is true.
Right.
This is true, as this whole conversation illustrates.